Welcome back. KwaZulu-Natal flood victims are trying to piece their lives back together. The devastating rains damaged roads, bridges, cars and houses. Lives were lost and people are still missing. The government has promised to assist in rebuilding the damaged areas. eNCA's Lindokuhle Xulu is on the ground monitoring the aftermath and he joins us live now. Lindo, you've been visiting various communities in the province that have been affected by the floods to see the rebuilding efforts. Tell us where you are at the moment and give us a sense of what the people living there are having to deal with in trying to rebuild their lives.
Well, we are in Lamontville at the moment at the Apostolic Faith Mission Church, and this is where some of the relief efforts are taking place. We are here to witness a church not just having an ordinary Sunday service, but also just serving the community in terms of their needs. We do understand that Lamontville is one of those communities that has been affected. Unfortunately, of course, there might be some inconsistencies, or rather, there might be some far-flung areas that are not able to get the relief that government has promised. It is a matter of urgency when you look at the environment around KwaZulu-Natal in terms of the floods that devastated many parts of this province. But I can tell you that Lamontville is one of those communities we are told is in dire need. And in fact, one of the community halls here is housing over 700 people that have been displaced by these floods. But we are again, like I said, at the church here in Lamontville, the Apostolic Faith Mission, where relief is being given to some of the people that are in need at the moment. You will see, just as my colleague Joko Mane shows you, there's over 1,500 food parcels that are actually being distributed to those that are in need by this church. They do say that they believe they need to play a part in terms of alleviating the pressures that are caused by some of the floods, by people being displaced. Infrastructure has been damaged. People have lost their lives, as well as people are still missing. But while people are trying to rebuild their lives, this church says that they need to be at the forefront of leading this particular relief in terms of helping the people in their community. They are saying that relief, as much as government has promised it, as much as government is trying by all means, but it should be all hands on deck in terms of trying to solve this. We are going to try now and speak to Ubaba Bishop Mapumulo just to get a sense of what is currently happening. Baba, siyabona ukuthi you are well underway in terms of trying to bring relief to some of the families that had been displaced, that had their homes damaged by the floods. But just take us through what this particular initiative is all about.
Yes, thank you so much, Samuel. And we as the church, Waves of Life, AFM in Lamontville, we've decided to give back to the community. We know some have lost their houses, have lost their family members. What we are doing is that as the church, we've decided to give back. We've contributed from the church with our members, and we've decided to do something for the community. Yeah, that's what we are doing now. We are giving our food parcels and more things to help the community.
Yes, let's talk about some of the situations we are seeing in Lamontville particularly, because there has been concern that other areas are not necessarily receiving the aid that they need as quick as possible, and that's why we are seeing such initiatives from the church as well. But let's talk about the situation that we are seeing in Lamontville. What is the damage and what are the current conditions of people in this particular community?
Yeah, most people have lost their houses, and some they are stationed at the hall, community hall at Yellowwood Park, and some are at Wema Community Hall. That's what we've called them today to give them, and some we are going to go back to their halls where they are and give something back to those communities, because they lost their homes and they have nowhere to go. But as the church, we said, let's come and just do something for them.
What would the message be then in terms of other religious organizations when it comes to just being proactive in terms of helping those that are in need in their communities? This is something unlike what we've seen. We've seen NGOs, we've seen NPOs, we've basically seen government also trying to alleviate pressures. But what would then be the message to some of the churches out there that might want to also join in terms of this?
Yeah, I will say people will always ask, where is the government? But the government is people. As the church, we're also part of the government. And we as believers, we need to do something, be proactive and help the community that we live in, because the community is with us. And when there is a strike or when people are in bad conditions, they look up to the community leaders. As a pastor in the community, I must be able to stretch my hands with my community, because we are a community-based church. So we are where the people are, so the people must find us, and we must be there when they need us. So that's what we do as the church, AFM Waves of Life. We are part of the community, but to encourage other organizations, other churches, we say, don't fold your arms and wait for government and wait for funding or what. Do something from the little that you have. I was sharing the scripture that Jesus had compassion. When he looked, he saw the crowd. He said, what can we give to these people? And then there were fishes there, there were small bread, and he distributed all those things. Do what you have. The little that you have in your community, you can help other people.
Let's just talk, Bishop, about one last thing very quickly. How long are you guys going to keep this up? Because we do know that this is not the first installment. In fact, it's another installment in many ways that you've tried to bring relief to the Lamontville community. How long are you going to keep this up? How will you be able to, and are there any resources you are calling for, perhaps from government, in terms of helping you to continue with this? Because you as the church have the database working with the local councillor in terms of who is in need and what is needed.
Yeah, indeed, we are working with our councillors. We've requested lists from councillors because we ask them to come up with people so that we can work with them, and even in the community. So we are doing this as the church, and it's not the first time we are doing this. Even during the week we were giving out some food parcels, and even today we said this is a special Sunday, as we normally do church, but today we said we are going to just serve the community, and we are doing this. And we also request the government to come on board, because they must work with us as the churches, organization within the communities. They must come to us and help us. We thank some other pastors who are partnering with us, and we were to work with Pastor Collins Lomo from CFCI, where we work with CRC. Pastor Glenn, you came and said, if you are helping the community, we'll come on board. So we request people to come and say, we are where the communities are. So it's the best thing they can do is to come and give donations, and give if there are parcels. Some they need blankets, some they need mattress. They sleep on the floor there at the hall. They don't have mattress, they don't have sponges. So we are here. If you've got the resources, please come and help us so that we can reach out to the community. Because we do what we have for now with the resources that we have, with our own money, with our pocket money. We are helping the community. If government can come and say, let's work together, because we are where the community is.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much, Bishop Mapumulo, just giving us a sense of what is happening as community-based organization. This one, a religious organization, a church within Lamontville, is saying that government must use them as a tool to try and reach those that are in need at this time. And he is speaking about the fact that they are able to consolidate and actually configure who is in need and where they are. This then brings about ease in terms of identifying those that are in need and reaching them quickly. But as you can see, basic necessities that one would be needing as they try to rebuild their lives. And also what I'm seeing just on the far corner of my eye, at the back of Ubaba, who's distributing at the moment, are sanitary pads, which tells you just the fact that they are focusing on the basic needs and saying that they'll be trying to help the community as much as they can. But the call is to also government to use these community-based organizations to be able to reach those that are in need as speedily as possible.
Thank you very much, Lindokuhle Xulu, coming to us from Lamontville in flood-stricken KZN.